we will show how to use the features regarding normal distribution in Excel. We will do this on an example of the IQ, for which we know that it's distributed normally with an arithmetic mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 17. These two parameters are necessary because each combination of the two determines the actual shape of the normal distribution. We'll write down these two parameters for later use in separate fields. So we'll write down the mean, which is 100, and the standard deviation, we'll just denote it with SD, which is 17. Now we will solve a couple of specific problems. We will start with the first one. So we'll try to answer the question, what is the probability that IQ of a randomly selected person is not greater than 117? Because the question asks not greater, meaning less than this, we need the left-hand side of the distribution. So to illustrate this fact, what we are looking for is the following area. So thinking this is our mean of 100, the point here being 117, we are looking for this area under the curve of normal distribution mass. So the area under the curve is given by the cumulative function, which we get if we write in Excel norm for normal distribution. Newer Excels, so the ones that came out after the year 2010, have these functions as norm dot something. So in this case we will need norm dot dist for compatibility not only with older Excels but also with other spreadsheet applications. We can use these compatibility functions. Essentially, they have the same functionality, but since we're doing this for the newer Excel, we'll simply do this using a new function, so we will select norm.dist. As you can see, the required parameters are the x, meaning the value that we are looking for, so 117, the mean, which we can pick up from above, so we'll just pick up this one. The third parameter is the standard deviation, which we will also pick up from where we left it earlier. And then there's this parameter which can have values either true or false. True will result in the area under the curve up until the desired value of x, which we entered here. False or 0 will give us the height of the column. Since this is not something that we are looking for, we'll just write true, or Excel will also understand 1 as true. So this is now the probability of that a randomly selected person will have an IQ not greater than 117 given the parameters before. Our next problem will be the following. Trying to compute the percentage of people that have an IQ between two values. Let's select these two values being between 91.5 and 108.5. To illustrate what we are looking for, we can illustrate it like this. So basically we are looking for the area under the curve between two values. Never mind, the values are not the same as we are looking for. So we need the two values. So we'll just copy them from the text. So basically one value is 91.5, the other value being 108.5. And we will need the same function as we used before, so the norm dist function for both of these values. So essentially we need the norm.dist for the first value, the mean, which I will fix, standard deviation, which I will also fix, and 1 because I want the cumulative. And now, since I have the first argument running and the other two fixed, I can just drag and I will get the probability for the second one as well. Now, remember, I'm looking for this area. So the first number gives me the white area left of the first value, whereas the second number gives me the whole area, so the blue one and the white one. So in order to just get the blue area, what I need to do is I need to subtract the first number from the second one. So the answer to my question will be the difference of this probability less the first probability. So to answer the question, 38.3% of people have an IQ between 91.5 and 108.5. Next, we will try to answer the following problem. What percentage of people have an IQ above 154? So now our problem will actually be on the right hand side here. So the norm dist function will always be returning the values on the right hand side of the distribution, on the left hand side of the distribution. So we need to take account of the fact that the area under the whole curve is 1. So if the function will give us the left hand side and we need the right hand side, we will need to subtract 1 minus the left hand side. So our value, 154, so the left hand, we can actually retrieve it from above. This is our left hand, so basically the white area here. Right hand of the distribution will be 1 minus this value. So to answer the question, there is 0.07% of people who have an IQ above 154. Last, we will show you how to do a reversed lookup. Say we have a problem as follows, so that we need to find an IQ for which 10% of people have higher IQ than. So illustration is the same as with the example before. So, but now we don't have a particular value and we are seeking for the probability, but rather we have given a probability, so we know that the area of the blue area equals 0.1 or 10%, and we are looking for the particular value for which this happens. So we have the probability. So again, as before, we have the right hand probability, which is 10%. So the right hand probability is 0.1. Now the left hand probability is 1 minus the right hand probability is 0.9. And now we will look for the IQ that corresponds to that probability. The IQ that corresponds to that probability. The function that we will use will be a different one, so not norm dist, but since we're doing an inverse lookup, we will use the norm.inv function. We will choose the left-hand probability, always the left-hand probability, and the mean and standard deviation, which we saved earlier. So the number that we get is the IQ, of which 10% of people have a higher one. So 10% of people have an IQ higher than 129.8. This concludes this tutorial on the normal features in Excel.